Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are back again with another unboxing, and today it is a watch after a slew of pins that I have reviewed. We're finally back to what you guys love the most, watch unboxings. And today we are doing an unboxing of, well, some might call it a micro brand. I would say it's not a pure micro brand, has some heritage and history, maybe not as well known, definitely not very mainstream, but it is a well respected brand amongst watch geeks like you and me, possibly, and well known by watch enthusiasts. Regular people who are not into watches as much might not know about it, but nevertheless, it's our job to educate those who do not know about this brand. So we will begin this journey. The brand that I will be reviewing today and the watch that I'll be reviewing today is by YEMA. It is a French watch company that specializes in wristwatches and is most well known for their motorsport themed watches, especially in the 70s and 60s, and worn by some very famous racing Formula One drivers like Mario Andretti and some others along the way as well. But most notably, it was worn by him during his GT victories. All right, so coming to the watch itself, it arrived via DHL Express directly from France, and I ordered it on a Saturday, and it's here with me on Tuesday. So they used express shipping and didn't charge me extra for it. So that is a really nice thing because usually shipping like that costs you extra, especially when you're ordering it from another country. However, I didn't have to pay any tax or customs, ordered directly from the website. There was a discount feature as well, 10% off, use that. And we'll talk about pricing in a little bit, but let's just come to the packaging. So I did take out the box and everything just so for sanitation purposes. And inside that, I had this white box, not really a box, an outer layering of white cardboard. Inside is the watch case itself. So let's take an examination of the watch case in a second, but I just want to let you know there's no markings on this white cardboard box. So let's get it on the side. Before we open the watch case and talk about it, we do have their user manual with YEMA and their Y signature logo. It's a matte black finished book. YEMA.com is their website. You can order directly from them. That, I think, is the only way to actually order a YEMA watch. So you have this user guide. It is obviously in French and English. It tells you a history about the watch. Not the watch, the brand actually. History of the brand. Started in 1948, so fairly decent amount of heritage involved. It tells you about their other models. As you can see, it goes through all of them. You can see race car driving heritage over here. This is our watch. We're going to look at it in a second, the Rallygraf. And we'll talk about the specs also in a second. Time of Heroes. Now, it is the official watch of the French Air Force, and it's not the YEMA Rallygraf. I believe it's the YEMA Flygraph, if I'm not mistaken. That is what is used by the French Air Force as their official timepiece. So a lot of adoption by users across the board. Right, so we're going to put this to the side now that we've looked at it. This is by far the most interesting watch case I have ever gotten. Now, as I mentioned, the watch that I have gotten is the YEMA Rallygraf, which is a motorsport themed watch. And typically, when you get a motorsport themed watch, usually they just come in regular boxes, but this time they went all the way to make sure the case actually reflected its motorsport vintage roots. And this case definitely looks like a vintage style leather case that you would carry possibly, I don't know, a tool set or racing kit instruments with you while you're driving or racing along the streets of France or the Dakar Rally. back in the day, they didn't have like, on-spot mechanics. Sometimes the driver would have to carry a mini tool set with them. I think this is meant to reflect that, if I'm not mistaken. And it definitely has this vintage vibe with this brown leather dotted patterning and very nicely finished stitching, I must say. For the price, very well made. Definitely looks like a quality French leather product. You have this nice zip ribbon made of Velcro. It has the French flag colored on it, and that is a very, very nice touch. You have the YEMA logo embossed on it on the top left corner. No other markings on the box. Brown caramel type coating and coloring. Let's open it up. Very nicely stitched. It is a joy just holding it in your hand. It can function as a travel case too. So you also open it up, and inside we have quite a few things. So on the top side, there's some ribbons here. We can put some paperwork in here to hold. There's also a pocket in here as well. It doesn't hold anything right now. Let's take a look at this. So this is their warranty card. And now on the other side, we just have the markings for the serial number. And they give you a 2-year warranty, just so you know. All right, so let's examine the other contents of the case. We have, take a look at that. So put that to the side. So now with the watch, they also gave me an extra strap, which is their tropical dive strap in, I would like to say, dark Monaco blue type of color. Let's see what it looks like. Let's take it out and examine it before we go to the watch itself. We finally got this open. Very hard with the gloves, as you can imagine. So this is the strap. It's a rubberized, should I say, vulcanized rubber strap. Some nice patterning on the underside, holes for breathability. And yeah, so that is the checkering, diamond checker pattern on there. Very in line with the racing theme, although more of a dive inspired racing theme, I must say. So you have the YEMA logo. It's not just any rubber strap. It mentions the millimeters on there too, 20 millimeters, and has the YEMA logo on it. Here's the holder. You can see the underside. This is actually the top side, and this is the underside. A nice decent strap, 1948 on one side, YEMA on the other one. And looks like it's a tang buckle rubber strap. Don't see too many of these nowadays. Usually rubber straps come with deployants, but you do see some tang buckles, I will say. Now here is a polished mirror finish tang buckle with, as you can see, the YEMA logo on it. Getting it in focus. Stainless steel. All right, so let's put the strap to the side now that we've talked about it. Here's the watch itself. It comes in this case with very nicely finished case, I gotta say. Comes in this very nicely finished case with suede lining. Okay. Put this to the side here. Let me put it over here, that's better. I applaud them for that. All right, let's take off the plastic. So here it is, guys. This is the YEMA Rallygraf Panda dial with the Mecha Quartz movement by Seiko, also known as the Seiko VK64. Now, what is a Mecha Quartz? A Mecha Quartz is a movement that uses a hybrid mechanism of both automatic and quartz. Now, the quartz powers the time management, basically. So the clock itself, the wristwatch itself, it keeps time by a quartz mechanism. However, their chronograph module is powered by a mechanical movement. So when you do operate the chronograph, it works very smoothly and jumps back to the 12 o'clock position just like an automatic chronograph would, and the sweep is very smooth. It's not like a stagger which you would see in a quartz chronograph. We'll demonstrate that in a second, but just want to let you know that this watch does have a movement that is a little bit different from the ones that I usually have been showing you guys. So let's take a close look at the dial itself. You can see it's a very nicely made vintage motorsport themed watch with definite hints of 60s and 70s vintage styling. Definitely feels like you are wearing a timepiece from back in the day when motorsports were a little bit more fun and not as calculated or clinical as they are today. And this is a perfect example of that. So upon further inspection, you can see the dial is matte white. You have the YEMA Rallygraf logo at the 12 o'clock position. And let's actually move this out of the way for a second so that you can easily see what it looks like. Okay. All right. So, and then at the 6 o'clock position, you will see France and the checkered flags indicating that this is a motorsport inspired watch, a nod to Formula One, which is also a nice little element to be in there. They didn't write made in France, even though the watch is made in France. The movement by Seiko is, however, Japanese. So just keep that in mind. This is not a Swiss made or French made movement. It is a borrowed movement. Now, other than that, from the dial, you can see that this is a bicompax chronograph, which means it has two registers or two subdials. Subdial on the right, and both the subdials are in matte black finish. The subdial on the right is a 24-hour indicator. Subdial on the left is a 60-minute register for the chronograph function. So the needle in the center is not actually a running seconds hand. This watch does not have a running seconds hand. And so when you operate the chronograph mechanism by way of this top pusher over here, which is pump style, classically made, you can see that the chronograph mechanism for the seconds hand is now activated. You can see the smooth sweeping motion of this hand. Press it again, stops, and then you press the second button. Jumps back to 12 o'clock just like an automatic chronograph would, but it is battery powered. So that is the unique feature of the VK64 movement. It's a very solid, reliable movement, and the click action feels very solid, very firm, and overall the watch is exuberating. Overall the watch is giving you a very high quality feel. You can just by holding it and looking at it right now in person, I can tell that they put a lot of thought into this watch, and they designed it purely for watch geeks like us. So push it again, let's try it again, goes back up, perfect, no problems. And I like that the 24-hour indicator has a simple straight needle for the handset, and you have an arrow indicating more precision on the minutes hand, on the minute subdial. So that allows you to easily register what minute it is and what time, what seconds the chronograph is telling you. So this allows you to accurately measure the minutes and the seconds. However, you cannot measure the hours with this chronograph, which is fine. Yeah, I mean, I would probably not be measuring hours with my chronograph, but some of the other automatics that I have, they do have the 12-hour function on there. So just something to note. Okay, moving on. So again, one thing I forgot to tell you, these bicompact subdials, they are a nod to the 60s and 70s sports car dashboards that were similarly shaped. So this reflects exactly that on there. Okay, talking about more about the dial, on the chaptering, you can see there are indices that have lume in them with polished silver borders, and there are second markings on the chapter ring. We'll do a lume test in a second, but let's talk about the handset first. The handsets are pretty much pointer and cylindrical. Actually, not cylindrical, they are rectangular, straight, not too much going on there, but they do have pointed edges in triangular fashion. And the seconds hand, actually the chronograph seconds hand, is straight, simple, silver and polished. Not too much of detailing on there, but they look nice, crisp and clean. Okay, what else? You can see the case, the watch itself is full stainless steel, and there's only one finish, that is a polished mirror finish across throughout the entire case. The bezel, again, stainless steel fixed with a top aluminum ring with a tachymeter marking, and the tachymeter markings allow you to measure the average speed over 1,000 meters if you start, and then as soon as the car or object crosses 1,000 meters, you press the top button again. It tells you the average speed in, I believe this is kilometers per hour. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yes, I believe this is either kilometers per hour or miles per hour. I gotta check, but it tells you the average speed if you want to use that. So that's what it's for. What else? So that is the case. Now the crown is signed. Serrations are moderately aggressive. The winding mechanism I found, by the way, no way to tell if this has hacking seconds or not. There is no seconds counter, so you cannot possibly tell whether there's hacking seconds or not. You can't do that. There's no hand winding. Obviously, it's not automatic. And the crown is right now out in the full position, but you can see the chronograph function is independent of that. It's still working. And you can stop, start, doesn't matter. So crown action is very sleek and smooth. It's a push-out, pull-out crown. It's not a screw-down crown, so it only has 50 meters of water resistance, which is to be expected with most chronograph. The time-changing function is very smooth, very decent. It's a pleasure to actually use this crown. It's very nicely made. Now, there is a date function at the 6 o'clock. It is not bordered particularly, but it has a black background with white lettering on it, and it's perfectly centered. Let's check if it's a quick set or not. Oh, it is a super quick set. As you can see, counterclockwise rotation moves the date forward. Be careful not to do it between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. especially. Okay, two very distinct crown movements. Easy to push back in. Start the time. It is 39 millimeters in diameter. Lug to lug is 48 millimeters. Strap is 20 millimeters. And yeah, so those are some of the key measurements to keep in mind. On the flip side, you see it's not a see-through case back. You have the YEMA crown, and not the YEMA crown, the YEMA crest logo on a bead blasted finish, polished otherwise. On the underside says, gives you the serial number, Rallygraf, Marteau, France, chronograph. Nice to have some French wordings on there, letting you know that this is a French watch. From the side, you can see that the crystal we didn't talk about. The crystal is a domed mineral crystal. It is not, and you can see there's definite distortion of the light. Some people like that, some people don't. It has an anti-reflective coating. I can tell by the coloration of the reflections over here. And it is single dome mineral crystal. It's not sapphire, so, but I mean, I have not scratched my dome mineral crystal watches yet, which tells you that, you know, it only happens if you are really aggressively playing around with them, which can happen, but just something to keep in mind. If you're a sapphire freak, you will not like it, but otherwise I think it's good. It has a substantial presence on the wrist, I can imagine. We'll do that in a second too. Let's talk about the bracelet first. We have a mesh stainless steel bracelet, which is very easily adjustable. You have, let's take off some of this plastic. Okay, smooth brushed finish, vertical striping, some more plastic, get that off. Bracelet looks very well finished. Pretty standard for a mesh bracelet. It's not an out of this world type of bracelet, but I do like the look of it. Again, you see stainless steel written over here. For the price, guys, this watch is offering a lot of bang per buck. You have a polished end on this side, which is good to see. So this is how you adjust. Basically, you will put a tool in here, like a small screwdriver, lift this open, adjust this around as much as you need to for your wrist, and then close it back in. Then this kind of goes back on here. Missed that. So once you have that in, lock, and then second lock. That way you are secure. That's how it will look on the wrist. All right. Dimensions are very nice for this watch, very wearable. Definite sport watch theme. Although you can possibly wear it to the office too. Now I talked about the luminescence. We're gonna test it out. Actually, let's test it out right now, see what we get. I'm not expecting it to be a great lume, but they do say it has some index lume. Let's turn off the lights. All right, you can see some shining. So on the camera, it looks pretty decent. However, I'll tell you, it's not super bright, and it's just your average run-of-the-mill lume, but it's great that they're offering you that even at this price point. So that's your lume test right there. All right, let's put it on the wrist, see how it looks. All right, I do have to size the bracelet, but this is typically how it would look. And you can see it, the dimensions are perfect for my 6.5 inch wrist. Looks really nice, wears pretty decent, although a bit thick, but definitely gives you some Daytona vibes, some 60s, 70s vintage racer vibes. And I am totally loving the look of this. Just so you guys know, the stainless steel is 316L regular stainless steel. It's not anything special. However, I do want to make a correction about something I said earlier in the video. I said it has 50-meter water resistance. The YEMA website actually quotes this as 100-meter water resistance, and it's not mentioned over here like typical watches, but 100-meter water resistance is actually pretty good for a push-pull crown. So I digress. That is actually very, very nice. And I also looked up some of the specs. So 13 millimeters is the width of, or the thickness actually, of this watch. So it's not too bad. It's kind of up there with all the standard sports watches. And you have super reliable VK64 movements. So, and they give you a 2-year warranty. Typically the batteries last for about 2-3 years, then you have to replace them. It's a bit of a hassle, but I mean, for this watch, I would do it. Typically I'm shifting from quartz to automatics for most of them. But you know, having a mecha quartz is something I have always wanted, and this is the perfect watch to fulfill that desire on. One thing I did forget to mention earlier on, you see the seconds hand has a red tip to allow for easy readability of the seconds. That's another feature I forgot and totally missed out. Strap looks like they're easily interchangeable, and let's just see how it would look with this. I think it would look pretty decent. The contrast of the white and black and the blue would give it a nice touch. However, right now I will probably just enjoy it with the stainless steel bracelet. All right, let's talk about pricing. So the watch retails for $349, which is a cracking deal for this watch. And on top of that, for first-time purchasers, you get an additional 10% off. And so that reduced the price for me by at least $35. And $35 minus $349 gives you approximately, let's do the math here, around $315. And plus, with that, they give you this free strap as well and free shipping international, which is amazing. No tax, no like additional taxes, no additional customs fees, which is great. So guys, I would highly recommend this watch if you are a motorsport enthusiast and you are a watch fanatic like me. Definitely check this one out. There are other versions of this I should mention. There is one with the reverse Panda, which is black, matte black with white registers. There's one with the blue dial. There's also one with the Mario and Andretti special edition dial with some carbon fiber and red trim. I was kind of confused between getting either this one, and there was a dilemma whether, you know, maybe I should get the Mario and Andretti special edition, which is a little bit more expensive. I think it's like $429 or something. I'm not sure. So, but I wanted something with the Panda dial, and this was really resonating with me. The Mario Andretti version is really cool if you're a fan of him and you really want to get into that carbon fiber look, make it more motorsporty than it already is. By all means, go for it. That is also a great choice. If you're in for the reverse Panda, you can get the reverse Panda. If you like the blue dial, go for it. I already have a bunch of blue dials, so I didn't want to go for that. And this was the ideal choice for me. Now, also the Rallygraf does come with Swiss-made automatic, I think ETA-based movements. Now, those are a little bit expensive. The limited editions are around $2,000 plus. There's two versions of them. One is a Mario and Ready Special. There's the 15% going off. I think it's around $2,200. And then there's one more version that is a little bit less than that, but also comes with an automatic movement, so you don't have to worry about batteries. So if automatic only is your way, that is something that you can look into. However, for $2,000, I would suggest getting something even more high-end if possible. However, they're still pretty good choices, and the straps that you get with them, those are really cool too. I would have liked to get like maybe a rally strap instead of a rubber strap for this watch. I think that is my only criticism. If they are providing you with a second strap, it should probably be something with more of a rally theme or a motorsport theme than this. This is more of a dive style. Even though they have checkered markings and everything, it's still more of a dive style strap. And what other criticism? The loom is not great, that I will say, but for the price, I will let that slide by. I would have liked maybe some different finishes as well to make the watch look more premium. Possibly running seconds hand, but I mean, not everybody likes that, so that's just me. And what else? I mean, I can't really find much wrong with the watch. If they would have given a sapphire, that would have been great. But again, you got to take the price into consideration. See-through case backs for these watches are not typically made, so I wouldn't worry about that. What else? Instead of a 24, or some people might criticize having a 24-hour indicator. They should have given them an actual chronograph hour indicator. Well, that would require a different movement, possibly add to expense, so that might be the reason they did not include that. Maybe a French flag or something might have looked nice, adding a little bit of contrast. But those are just, really minor gripes. Overall, I love the watch. And guys, that's it for this review. If you like this review, please press the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Do comment, let me know what your thoughts are. Let your friends know to subscribe, like, share, and view these videos as well. Really helps the channel. We are above 320 subscribers, guys. I am really thankful for your support. Please keep watching the content and make sure that you hit the bell icon to get alerts whenever I upload a new episode. You'll be able to watch it as soon as it's released. All right, guys, take care. Have a good day.